I work way too hard to be this fucking poor. So broke.
Must die.
Howdy plebs, so today's video is about should you invest in Zoodiac. I think it goes without saying that this is going to be one of the best decks / engines ever in this game's history. That's without a doubt. We look at the OCG statistics in my This Week in Yu-Gi-Oh episode for last week, basically. I should really call it Last Week in Yu-Gi-Oh, shouldn't I? Rather than This Week? Last Week in Yu-Gi-Oh. That would probably make more sense. But anyway, Zoo variants took about 65% of the OCG meta, and then the True Draco variants, which included Zoo still, but it just had more True Dracos than Zoo cards really, had about, I think, 25%. 22% I think was the exact number. So, you know, about 85% of the meta is just Zoo. And in the other section where you have Infernoids and Minerva and like just other trash, they all have Zoo cards. 2 single decks in the entire like last week of every tournament, major tournament across like the OCG, 2 of them didn't have Zoo cards out of like the 120 or something that topped. Basically, this sets a premise for us going forward that this is going to be a pretty good deck. This deck's going to be pretty damn good, right? Now, as this player who isn't quite interested in financially involving oneself in this game as much as I used to, now, working full-time and stuff, and YouTube and Twitch kind of helps supply me with the sort of maintenance that my Yu-Gi-Oh requires, not as much as you'd think, honestly. But enough to kind of get by on, you know, with like growing older and having other responsibilities and financial needs and stuff like that, like food. It's pretty tough. So if we look at past formats, for example, rather than rambling on, let's just start from the beginning. So if we have something like, I don't know, Dragon Rulers, that deck was released at a time where ban lists were set, and ban lists were essentially just on a specific time. There was really no surprises. You knew when your deck's time was up. You knew when it was over. So that was fine. I personally am okay with investing a couple of $100 into a meta deck if I'm going to enjoy it for half the year. I think £300-400 over the course of like 9 months is not a lot to ask for from my hobby, you know, which I invest my spare time like twice a week, once or twice a week. And then for me as a YouTuber as well, investing every night of my life into. I don't think that's unfair. I think that's a good investment. Fast forward a little bit to last year. Now, EmEm came out, and even after the ban list, it was still good. It was still a good deck. But it goes without saying that it was really irresponsible of Konami to hit the deck 2 weeks. I think it was specifically 13 days after its inception to be hit again, to be hit on a list, like very, very, very strongly hit on a list. It wasn't decimating. It wasn't that hard. The deck was still very good. It just wasn't broken. Now, unfortunately, we just didn't get a chance, like previous years, to just see how everything unfolds, to see how the meta develops, to see how people start changing up the decks and playing things. You know, we had standard lists for YCS Atlanta, I think it was, and then things just started developing, and, you know, things evolved. The game evolved. We got to play around things and see how it went. And then a lot of us were really pissed off because we put a lot of money into that deck, especially us in Europe. We hadn't even had a tournament yet with this deck, you know, and Konami went and hit it. And then they scrapped ban lists altogether. So now we don't have a ban list. We just have essentially permanent adjusted lists. Whenever they feel like something is going to be hit, they'll hit it. What does that mean? When we feel like it? I mean, when we think it's necessary. That is so subjective. That is like literally like asking someone what their favorite color is. That is the most subjective like thing that you could ask someone. You know, when do you think we should get a ban list? Like, and you ask every individual at Konami who's like responsible for the ban list, all of them probably have all personal different opinions of when the ban list should be should be implemented. We're going into a format now where this deck is going to be around, and it's going to be very prominent, and I really don't know if I want to invest my money into 3 secret Zoo barrages, 2 secret Drancias, 2 secret Broad Bulls, 3 secret barriers if I already don't have them, potentially Solemn Strikes, Terratops, and Invoker. So already that is like £400 or something, basically, for like the full deck, right? I don't know, and based on last year, I don't know if 13 days is worth my money. Now, that's not to say last year that money went to waste. It just meant that something like Luster Dragon, a super rare, was no longer worth like £30. It went down because it was at 1. Now, suddenly, every PePe player had 2 spare Luster Dragons. That completely saturated the market and made your cardboard plummet in value. Now, who's to say 2 weeks in, Konami will just think to themselves, we'll just do a little minor hit, little slap on the wrist for the barrage, we'll put it to 2. We'll put Drancia to 1 and Broad Bull to 1, still playable. Nothing, it's not destroying. What happens if that takes place? Suddenly the secret rares that I paid £20-30 for, that's going to just half in price, in value. So after like a week, 2 weeks, I don't know if I'm willing to invest that amount of money into it. That puts people like me in a very difficult situation where I don't know if I want to invest in this deck. Now, on the other hand, compared to PePe, this is not so much an archetype in the sense that you play a deck around Zoo. You play Zoo around your deck. No, wait. Is it the other way around? It's probably the other way around. So this is a deck where you can put Zoo into everything. Literally everything makes the deck good. You can put this in Fire Fist, in Mermail, in Paleozoic, in Heroes, in Infernoid, in Minerva, in my ass. Like, it works in everything. You know what I mean? I think that I'm very, excited because I think it's going to be great for the farm. I think if this is legal until Euros, it will be fantastic because it will be super innovative. Because everyone will be playing this little engine and will be trying to think of ways to make it better and improve it, and then add text, and then maybe they'll try it with like pendulums, and then they'll put in metal foes, and then they'll go back to maybe some traps, and then go back to kaijus, and it will just be a great time for creativity. But who's to say Konami just one day will just go Momorat to 2? That's it. The deck is unplayable. You can't play it with less than 3 rat now. Ban Drancia. Well, now the first turn board, which it doesn't even make anything particularly unfair, is pointless because now I've got 1 XE I've made. It's a really tough situation. Should I invest? Should I not? The pre-order prices are really good on TCG Market. I think it's like €42 or something to pre-order a Secret Barrage. That's really good. I said in my This Week in Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode, don't pre-order. Some cards are an exception. Like the pre-orders on Drancia and Broad Bull, probably a bit too expensive, but Barrage is a good pre-order price. I'm thinking of investing. Do I want to invest and then have it be limited 2 weeks from now? Because limited wouldn't destroy the deck. If they limit Barrage, the deck will still be good. But then, if we go by the rarity argument, well, Konami didn't hit any of the secret rares in PePe. None of them. They hit the commons and the rares and the supers. Well, guess what? Momorat is not a secret rare. That puts that giant fucking bullseye on that card. There's a big crosshair on Momorat now. I don't know if I want to buy this deck because that is the heart and soul of the deck is Momorat. And if that card gets semi-limited, that deck falls apart. I have no money anymore. Like, if this deck is going to last until summer, I'll buy it. I'm happy with that. That's fine with me. I'm going to invest. That's a good investment for my hobby. I really don't know. This is the one time in Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally the first time ever where I'm just stumped. And this is kind of why I'm making this video as well. What do you guys think? I literally am asking, what should I do? Because I want to invest. I want to play this deck for a long time. However, if it's only going to be, if Rat's only going to be around for 2 weeks, no thank you. You can have your deck. Maybe they don't want the same thing to happen in OCG as it did over here. On the other hand, in their blog, many eons ago, when they went to this no ban list thing, they said, we want to let everything unfold for a while and see how it plays out. But what is that? How long is a piece of string? What does that mean? How many soap suds in a bar of soap, right? Well, I don't know. Like, you want to let it play out for how long? How long's letting it playing out? 1 event? 2 event? Summer? End of the year? Worlds? Like, it's so like it's really it's such a difficult decision to make, and I don't know what to think about it. I'm probably gonna go ahead and buy them anyway because I'm a fucking idiot, but like, yeah, what do you guys think? That's really what it boils down. I'm so curious to know. Comment down below and let me know what you think. Will you invest in this deck? well, should I invest in this deck? If you do plan on investing in this deck, tell me why. And if you're not planning to invest in this, I'd like to know why as well. So, sorry if this has been a little bit long, but there's just been so much to say about this topic. Make sure you comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.